Hey everybody, it's day 10 and shit is gonna get real. Like, it's gonna get real right now. I'm already dreading making this video a little bit. Like, I know it's gonna be really hard for me to make. So here it goes. So I have a lot to say today. It's gonna be crazy. So I'm just gonna start with the reason that I love me today. And today I love me for my brain. And that is because I know I'm super intelligent, and I know that I'm great at analyzing and synthesizing like the things that are in my world, and also I'm really creative. So I love me for that today. I appreciate that about myself. And two people that I appreciate today are two other people raising their ruckus, and that would be Ebony and Dominique. I hope I said your name right. But I guess yesterday I asked for some help, for some suggestions, and how I can like face these negative thoughts in my head. And both of them gave me really, really great advice. So I'm really, really grateful for both of them, and I really appreciate both of them. I appreciate their ruckuses. I appreciate their strength. I've learned a lot from them. I've learned a lot from their ruckuses, and also I just really appreciate the fact that they took the time to like give me some advice, and it was really helpful advice, and that is why I have a lot of shit to say today, honestly. So I really do understand what Sonia means by the world needs your ruckus. Like, if I was doing this alone, I would have just gotten stuck and probably fallen into old patterns, but with their advice, I feel like I can move forward, and not only with their advice, but with what I have learned from their ruckuses as well. So I learned so much just from their own journey, from watching their journeys. So yes, I'm very, very grateful for both of you, Ebony and Dominique. Thank you so much. Yes, this is gonna be crazy. For me. Maybe for other people. Okay, so first off, well, the advice that Dominique gave me was just to trust the process, which I totally see that. Like I said, it's already starting to come together. The Ruckus project, it's making a lot of sense. And it's really bringing some things out that might be hard to deal with, but are necessary to deal with to heal, right? I mean, that's what healing is. Healing the wounds. And she also suggested that I talk to my negative thoughts like as if I was talking to a person. And I could really see how that would help. And I'm definitely going to try that as like a more concrete way to challenge these negative thoughts. And Ebony suggested that I just need to be honest, which is really funny because I wasn't being honest. I mean, I was, but it wasn't like the whole truth, you know? Like, I was confronting parts of my insecurity and parts of like the things that brought me to this point, but I wasn't really being real about why I'm really here right now. And the reason why I wasn't being real, I wasn't talking about it, is because I was ashamed, and that's what this whole thing is about. It's about shedding ourselves of this shame and this fear and this pain that we've gone through. And I wasn't facing my shame. I was running from it, not acknowledging it, and I was definitely ashamed of my truth, I guess. So I'm going to talk about that, and that's gonna be, I mean, I'm embarrassed, I guess. You could say I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed of it, but I have to talk about it in order to, you know, heal. So the voice in my head, who is it and why is it there? Well, where do I start? Well, so in my ruckus ceremony, I read a poem, and it was about my insecurity issues, and I also mentioned how a lot of them stemmed from a relationship that I was in. And I don't really go into details because it wasn't a 5-year like romantic relationship, but you know, like the relationship you have with a person, like that's what I meant. So I was in a relationship with them for 2 years, and then we were like friends for 3 years. For a long time I considered him my best friend, and we were in bands together, so like our lives were extremely, extremely integrated. And but the thing is that I like I wanted to, like, this is me speaking my truth, okay? So I really wanted him to like love me, you know, like the way that I loved him. And so I learned to hate myself because he didn't love me. So I learned to hate the parts of myself that like he didn't love, which was like all of them. Like, we were just very different, and I took the parts of me that were different from him and like learned to hate them. So I like really just ultimately learned to hate myself because I wasn't good enough, and I just really wanted him to love me that I forgot how to love myself. So that's kind of where I learned to have this behavior of doubting who I am. Like, I doubted who I was because I didn't care if I liked who I was. I wanted him to like who I was. So I really learned to like discredit my own opinions and my own wants and my own needs for out of the desire to like be wanted by him, right? So that's crazy. So I do feel a lot of shame for the fact that I'm still affected by it, and I feel ashamed at the fact that I allowed it to affect me like that at all. Like, you should never let somebody else be more important than yourself. I mean, in ways that are negative. So I'm ashamed about that, and I'm ashamed that it still affects me. And so it's like hard to talk about because I guess it goes kind of against everything I believe, right? But what can you do? Like, it's my truth, and I have to learn to heal from it. Otherwise, I'm not really going to be able to like move on completely. So the other reason I think why it still affects me and it's like so hard to get past these negative thoughts in my head is because it's not just the way that the relationship I had conditioned me, or I conditioned myself within that relationship, but also I feel guilt. Like, I feel guilt for the way that I acted in that relationship, and I feel like I never got to, I don't want to say apologize, but I never got to like show that that's not who I was, you know? I was really mean, I was really cold, I was really bitter, and that was all part of learning, and that was all part of healing from that was like what I became because of relationships and the way that I had been treated before I was even in that relationship with this person. So I really just feel guilt for being cold and being mean and being crazy sometimes. You know, sometimes I was just really, really needy, but that's just because I was looking for the acceptance and like the support that I was needing to give myself from someone else. And so it was just like horrible, like it was just a bad situation for everybody. But yeah, so the second thing is that I also feel guilt, and that's what's really hard to deal with because I guess I need to learn to forgive myself, because obviously like I'm not going to be forgiven by like this other person, and that's fine, you know, but I just need to deal with that yes, I do feel guilty, and I do need to forgive myself for like what happened, for like everything, like the way that I was, I guess. Also, so in that way, like, it does still affect me. Like, he's still like the voice in my head sometimes. Like, I know that sounds ridiculous, but when you learn to try to be a certain way for somebody else, like, you learn to see yourself through their lens, and you learn to try to adjust to what you think that they would like, as opposed to like just being yourself, right? So that's why I think I say he's the voice in my head. I mean, it's not literally his voice, like I don't literally hear his voice, but I see everything that I do and judge everything that I do in the perspective in what I think that he would like. I mean, it's not everything, but it's a lot of things. Like, for instance, when I'm like interested in somebody, let's say, I think like, oh, he would think this person's such a loser, and then it makes it hard for me to like, you know, build a relationship with anybody else, because I'm just always thinking about what he would think about them, which is crazy. Like, that, I mean, it makes sense to me about like why, but I want it to go away, like, please. So that's just like one example of how that works. And so I really like the other reality of it is that I haven't let go, and it's not of him or like the relationship, but I haven't let go of like the way that I've been affected, and I haven't learned how to be my own authority, my own voice of authority, because when it's not him, or like what I think he would think of me, it's somebody else that I'm interested in, or somebody else who has some form of authority in my life at that time. So like, I'm always seeing the things that I do through what I believe are other people's perspectives, which is where this fear of judgment is coming from. It's from fear of wanting to be accepted by either this person or that person, and always having that in the back of my mind instead of just allowing myself to be my own voice of authority. You know, I let like other people be the voices of authority in my life. And so yeah, that's where that issue stems from. So like if it's not him, then it's somebody else, because that's what I've learned to do, if that makes any sense. And also finally, like, I think like I never really had closure in the whole situation. This is like so like, I guess like what I'm most ashamed of. Like a lot of people tell me like, oh, like, you know, I can't believe you like let him affect you like that and blah blah blah. But the thing is, like, I feel like I was always chasing him. And like I felt like when I finally told him to stop talking to me like a year ago, it's not that I told him that so that he would talk to me. Like that would be like really insane. Like I was honest, like when I asked him to stop talking to me a year ago, I meant it, because I couldn't deal with like the emotions and like the negative feelings that I had within that relationship. But the thing is, I thought he loved me more than that. I thought he cared about me more than that, and I thought that like for once, if I wasn't making an effort to be in his life, that he would make an effort to be in mine, and obviously that wasn't the case. So I feel like I never really had closure because it ended so abruptly, and I didn't really get to free myself from this shame or this guilt or have like any sort of like answers to any questions that I had. I mean, I don't have those anymore, but I mean, I think that's why this has continued to affect me so long, because I think I was kind of still waiting for something that obviously like never came around. So I just kind of got used to waiting and used to seeing myself in like a different lens, not my own lens, and not being my own voice of authority. So I hope that that makes sense, because that makes sense to me. And even though I was ashamed of all of this, like, it's really freeing to talk about. And I realized some things. One, that I need to forgive him for hurting me. I mean, not like him, like not like I need to call him, but I need to let go of the fact that that I adjusted my, how can I say, I just need to forgive him for like all the ways that I was hurt, and not necessarily, like I said, I don't need to call him or anything crazy like that, but just like let it go. And two, I need to forgive myself for all of the fucked up things that I did, and that's like the bigger thing. I think that's the bigger issue, is I need to forgive myself, and when there's not someone there to ask for forgiveness for, it can be really hard, but I need to just really learn to let that go as well. And I really need to let go of all this shame that I have and realize that it just doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, regardless of what people think or what he thinks, like, you know what, none of it matters, and that's what I really need to let go of. Like, I need to be my own voice of authority, and this is my truth right now, and this is what I'm trying to break myself free from, and it doesn't fucking matter if anybody thinks that it's, you know, ridiculous or whatever, because I don't fucking care. Like, the truth is, this is what I've been through, this is how I've learned to be, and I'm trying to unlearn it, and this is my journey, and trying to heal and get away from that. So I have to go through these processes. Like, I feel sometimes like I didn't want to talk about this because people are like, oh my god, like, dude, that was like a year ago, like, you really need to let it go. And it's like, yeah, that was a long time ago, and I do need to let it go, but I can't let it go without like facing what it was, and like facing the reality of like what it's done to me really, and why it's done it to me really. You know, like I said, for 5 years I learned to see myself through someone else's eyes, and for 5 years I learned to want to be accepted by other people instead of worrying about like being good enough for me, or what do I want, what do I need, what do I think, you know? And it's not so bad to the point that I don't have like, you know, an independent thought or anything, but it's just, it causes me a lot of anxiety because I do worry about like, oh, like, you know, what would they think about this or that. And I'm done. I'm so done with it. And it's actually really good to talk about it and to talk about where these issues really do stem from, because then I feel like I can address it more. And I already feel a little bit more free. So again, I am extremely grateful to Dominique and Ebony for your advice. Like, it really kind of propelled me into doing the harder work that comes with the Ruckus project. So yes, that is how shit got real today. That is my truth for right now, and that is what I'm working on letting go. So now I'll be able to be more honest about like the whole entire process that I'm going through, and yeah, I already feel better. So this is day 10, shit got real, and I'll be looking forward to what the rest of the 30 days brings. Thank you all so much, and good luck to everybody on your journeys and all of your ruckuses. And if you're not doing a ruckus, you should definitely consider doing one. Alright, so until next time, bye.